Hello, I'm Drew Brown, and this is the Black Aesthetic and the Harlem Renaissance. For this presentation, I will dive into how the Harlem Renaissance brought new expression and style to the spotlight. During this time period, Black artists, writers, and musicians used their work to celebrate who they were, tell their own stories, and challenge the stereotype that society tried to put on them. This movement helps shape what we think of as Black aesthetics, showing off Black beauty, confidence, and creativity in a way that felt honest. It was more than just an art movement, but also a cultural shift that influences us even now. The Harlem Renaissance shows Black aesthetics in action by using art, music, and writing to celebrate Black identity, push back against stereotypes, and highlight Black beauty and creativity in its own way. Now on to the history. The Harlem Renaissance happened mainly in the 1920s in Harlem, New York City. It started after the Great Migration when a lot of Black families moved from the South to northern cities looking for better opportunities. It was so bad, Howard Thurman quoted in The Warmth of Other Suns that the measure of a man's estimate of your strength is the kind of weapons he feels that he must use in order to hold you fast in a prescribed place. This quote highlights the struggle that was presented before the Harlem Renaissance took place. Harlem became this amazing hub for Black culture where artists, musicians, and performers could really express themselves. Jazz and blues were booming. Writers like Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston were telling stories about Black life and identity, and visual artists like Aaron Douglas were creating powerful works inspired by African heritage. Even performers like Josephine Baker became famous internationally. Overall, the Harlem Renaissance was about celebrating Black culture, challenging stereotypes, and leaving a lasting impact on future generations. Now, on to the key points of the movement. At the same time as the Renaissance, the idea of Black aesthetics was emerging. This is about recognizing the Black culture as its own style, rhythm, and artistic voice. It celebrates Black beauty like skin, hair, and fashion, and uses art to express joy, reflect history, and even resist stereotypes. A quote from Zora Neale Hurston, meaning that truth can only reach people when people are brave enough to speak it. This says, truth is a letter from courage. Hurston wants change and wants it to happen soon. Together, the Harlem Renaissance and Black aesthetics worked hand in hand. Artists celebrated Black culture, developed new artistic styles, pushed back against negative stereotypes, and proudly claimed their identity. This movement wasn't just an art movement, it was a cultural shift that still influences Black art and expression today. Influence beyond Harlem. The Harlem Renaissance didn't just stay in Harlem. It influenced Black culture across the United States and even internationally. Artists, writers, and musicians from this time period helped shape future movements like the Civil Rights Movement, modern jazz, and contemporary Black literature and visual arts. It showed that Black culture could set trends, inspire change, and be recognized as a major part of American culture. Now onto the key figures. I want to highlight a few key figures from the Harlem Renaissance. First, there's Langston Hughes, a poet and writer who celebrated Black life and culture through his work. For example, in The Negro Artist and the Racial Mountain, Langston Hughes talks directly about how people should stop trying to be white and be proud of who they are. This message is the main point of Black aesthetic. In music, we have Duke Ellington, a jazz composer and bandleader, who helped make jazz a respected and influential art form. For visual art, there is Aaron Douglas, a painter and illustrator who used African-inspired designs to show Black life and history. And finally, Josephine Baker was a dancer and a singer who became an international symbol of Black talent and cultural influence. Each of these figures helped shape the Harlem Renaissance and left a lasting impact on Black art and culture today. This is the collage I chose. I chose these pictures because they really highlight the essence of the time. There was music everywhere, art everywhere, and community anywhere you looked. In conclusion, to wrap up, the Harlem Renaissance was more than just a time period of art and music. It was a celebration of Black culture and identity. As Alan Locke puts it, the movement was a spiritual transformation from social disillusionment to race pride. Through Black aesthetics, artists, writers, and performers highlighted Black beauty, creativity, and self expression while challenging these harsh stereotypes and creating new artistic styles. The impact of this movement is still felt today in literature, music, art, and culture. It showed the world the power and importance of Black voices, and its legacy continues to inspire artists and communities now.